There is a massive movement happening within the longevity and aging landscape. It turns out there is much we can do to extend our lifespan and reverse the effects of aging. What we've been taught and led to believe about aging and human disease are now outdated and no longer accurate. That means it's time to change the current mainstream paradigm and have different kinds of conversations when it comes to our well-being. And it's time to recognize that we have the power within ourselves to dictate and drive our own health span and aging journey. Hi, I'm Suzaida Hippolito, host of Timeless Vitality, where we are redefining aging so we become truly timeless. In my own journey of self-discovery, I woke up to how powerful the human body really is. Our bodies have this innate intelligence far beyond anything we know as a human race, and that includes healing powers, meaning our bodies are designed to heal itself. However, most of us are disconnected from this, and because of our disconnection, we end up destroying our bodies. We destroy our bodies with stress, the foods we eat, toxins in our environment, drugs, alcohol, smoking, and all the things. We even destroy our bodies with our own minds because of the negative thoughts we think. And we're doing this individually and collectively. And oftentimes it takes a crisis in our lives for us to finally appreciate and fully appreciate and connect to this innate intelligence. But why wait for crises when we can learn from the wisdom, practices, and discoveries of others who've already done the work for us? And this brings me to our very special speaker in this episode. It took her overcoming a series of health crises for her to wake up to the intelligence of her own body. It was also through crisis that she realized stress was destroying her body. She had the quintessential life of a corporate executive, wife, and mother. She was constantly juggling it all with the go, go, go and do, do, do lifestyle. And that lifestyle was literally killing her. In 2015, she was diagnosed for a second time with metastatic breast cancer. This time, she finally decided, enough. I cannot keep living this way. This decision caused her to reconnect with herself and nature. And in this reconnection, she discovered plant stem cells, which, along with other holistic healing modalities, she used to fully and completely heal the cancer. Her name is Jennifer Payeur. From a career in corporate financial services to now energy and medical intuitive and plant stem cell expert, Jenn founded Nature Provides, an innovative plant stem cell company. And her mission is to educate and empower others on how these unique plant remedies can detoxify, strengthen, and rejuvenate our bodies at a cellular level. Hi, Jenn. Thanks for joining us. And OMG, what a discovery and what a journey.
Yeah, I am so thrilled and honored to be here because everything that we've talked about prior to today just totally resonates with every aspect of my being.
Oh, I love that. Yes. Jenn, I'd love to go straight to your backstory. Like before you were diagnosed with any of your health crises, health conditions, what was life like?
Well, I mean, you classified it perfectly when you said go, 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 do, do, do. So I was the epitome of the human doing. And one of the things that I was so proud of for myself is I was called the go-go girl. And the girl that had the plate spinning, one here, one leg, right? And I was juggling the other leg. And I thought that was amazing because I could accomplish so much in my job and I was very successful because of that. And then also as a mom to four beautiful human beings that, I would come home after this go, go, go day, stress, 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 cortisol, 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 and come home and then be the uber mom. And so at the end of the day, I literally had nothing in my tank.
Mm.
And I didn't really understand that at the time because I was so caught up in the doing. I was traveling every week on an airplane. And then the guilt of being away from my kids drove me to then,
Mm.
overachieve as a mom. I wanted to be the mom that made the baked goods because I wanted something healthy for my kids. And so, it's just this constant adrenaline rush and fight or flight in a, just consistent state. And of course,
Mm.
that meant I didn't sleep a whole lot. So my rest and recovery
Mm.
period was extremely minimal. And to be honest, when I look back, I'm like, how and why did I live that lifestyle? And that was part of my healing journey. What was driving me to push beyond my body screaming at me? At times, my body, it was like, stop, please just stop. And it was
Mm.
really, really difficult for me to slow down.
And what was that? What was the why behind all the human doing? What was driving that? I'm so curious.
Yeah, at the core was this small, unhealed part of me that wanted to be enough and didn't
Mm.
feel enough. And so I was trying to prove my worth.
Mm.
And that's what I've unraveled, in hindsight. But at the time, I was so oblivious to that part of me that was like, please just see me, hear me. I'm doing the best
Mm.
that I can and wanting to be accepted and loved. And that's what was deep, deep down in my wounded, in my wounded and brokenness of
Mm.
just this drive that overrode all the logic and every
Mm.
sign from my body.
Mm. And as women, we're so good at that. We're so good at like giving, 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 and doing, doing, doing for others that we neglect ourselves. And I feel like it's also really common in the corporate world to for women to feel this drive to constantly prove ourselves. I know I went through that journey myself. And how long did you sustain, or maybe I don't even know if sustain is the right word, but how long did you live this lifestyle?
Pretty much from the time that I went into college until, my second major health crisis. So
Wow.
30 years, 20,
Oh my
28 years
gosh.
about is
Wow.
what I did. And that's where, in your opening, our vehicles, these human bodies are incredible, incredible. And I
Mm.
thank my body every day for what it sustained when I was in that go go
Mm.
phase and for not listening. So I thank it for
Mm.
giving me the messages and for tolerating my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
it's a
And
love affair. It's a love affair now.
you have a love affair now with your body. Like I
Mhm.
love that. And what is that love affair like in addition to you expressing gratitude to it every day? Because I feel like the reason I ask this is because I think we don't know how to have a love affair with our own bodies. We don't even know how that looks like. We know how we're really good at ignoring it, at doing all these destructive things to it, but we certainly don't have the skills to have that love affair with our body. So walk us through some of those ways.
Yeah, I mean, a key piece obviously is the gratitude, thanking, and then listening and connecting. And I'm a huge
Mm.
proponent of nature. I believe that nature is showing us the way. So being able to slow down, I have learned, I innately am a go-go girl. Innately, that's how I'm wired. And
Mm.
so I have to be intentional. So I am very intentional with my body. And if I have a weird ache or pain, which I rarely do today, but if I do, I stop and I say, okay, And I close my eyes
Mm,
for a minute and I say, what are you showing me? What are you informing me about that I'm not
mm,
paying attention to? So it
mm,
really is a relationship now and not just ignoring, this beautiful vehicle that has carried me through many things in my life and really being
mm,
able to listen, have gratitude, have a relationship with. And then at night, I go back to that gratitude phase. Thank you for carrying me through this day today. And I have a little, just a little ritual that I have and just,
mm-hmm.
thinking.
Oh.
And I literally go through my entire body and just spend a few minutes in that ritual of relationship, gratitude, and
Mm-hmm.
acknowledging.
Mm. That's so powerful, and it feels so sacred and so authentic and very grounding. And I want to contrast that with some of the things that you were doing before, like in the life of all the doing and all the all the go go go. What?
Sure. Well, I've been a conscious eater and an exerciser. And so for me, I had this false sense of security that, hey, everything's okay, because I'm doing all
Mm,
of the right things. Some of the ways that I neglected was not eating, getting
mm,
so caught up that it would be 5 o'clock and I realized, oh, I haven't eaten anything except had coffee. That's very acidic in my
mm,
body. And I haven't nourished my body in any way. Sleep, lack of sleep was huge for me. I mean, I would be lucky if I had 4 to 5 hours of sleep. And,
mm,
I think that's a huge piece of recovery for our bodies is being able to rest and digest. That's when everything is healing. And then the
mm.
biggest one is when, my lymph nodes were the size of golf balls at one point. And this was
Wow.
back in 2008, my very first big health crises. And I ignored it. I just totally said, it's going to be fine. And I actually had a practitioner say, you need to take time off and just give your body a rest. And I said, great,
Mhm.
thanks for the advice. And I ignored it. So, ignoring the messages
Wow.
and the signals my body was giving me, not getting enough sleep, not nourishing my body. I mean, it's one thing to intentionally fast and be very clear about what you're doing and then nurturing your body along the way. And I wasn't doing that. And so it was get up early, exercise. Everything was a very masculine energy for me. Get it
Mm,
done, accomplish it, go that go, go,
mm,
go, and don't stop. And so I just simply wasn't paying attention, wasn't listening, wasn't living intentionally. I really didn't have a regular spiritual practice, and that is like sacred to me now. I can't imagine not having that. So that was another piece that I didn't invest my energy into. I was investing my energy into
mm,
all the things that were solidifying my illness, and
mhm,
not the things that were nourishing my soul, body, mind, and spirit.
mhm. And all of that sounds so familiar. I can relate to so much of that, to on a different scale of intensity. And I feel like as a society, this is how we've been taught, like to live our lives, that in order to experience or have or be worthy or matter, that it becomes about what we get done and how much we do and how much we push ourselves, and like you're talking about all this masculine energy, it's like boom 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 boom. So tell us about your insights on that in terms of how you now look at things differently.
Yeah, when I go back to my childhood, I mean, I was the kid that was climbing the trees, laying in the grass, looking up at the stars at night, curious about
Mm,
nature. I loved to catch crawdads and frogs and lightning bugs and just, really be in nature. And I believe that's who I was innately, and I believe that's who we are as human beings, not human doings, that's our innate beauty, if you will, and wonder that we all have. And then when I
mm,
graduated college, all of a sudden, it's almost like picking up that world and putting it aside. And then I started
Mm,
sitting under, fluorescent lights and being inside all day. And,
mm,
it's almost like I totally disconnected from that natural world. And to me,
mm,
that is where the deep healing is available to us. So I don't view this process in my experiences as a waking up. I view it as a reconnecting, a remembering of this innate beauty, this
mm,
innate life force, vitality that we all have
mm,
if we choose to slow down. And you're right that we are not taught to do that. There's this, wonderful saying when you fly that says, if the plane is crashing, please put your oxygen mask on first. Right. And that's often used as an example of how we should be living our lives. But intuitively, especially if you're a mother or you are supporting teams that work for you, innately you think, no, I've got to give to the other first.
mhm,
And it's
mhm,
the opposite, right? So that
mm,
masculine energy that many of us, kind of fell into, I believe that's part of this mass shift in consciousness for us that, wait a minute, it really is about nourishing ourselves and loving ourselves. And when we do that, by default, we take care of everybody else. It's
mm,
really,
mm,
it took me a long time to shift my mindset because I was such a giver. I was such a doer. I was so used to, you know, being outward and not being inward.
mm.
And just one thing I want to share that I learned many years ago in a class is that when a baby is born, they don't come out and breathe out. They they take that big breath of life in. And so I
Mm,
often use babies as, analogies for, wow, look at a 2-year old. They are just full of life and they have that vitality. And that's who we are as human beings, and especially as women,
mm,
just, connecting and tapping into that vitality, and getting out of the what we should be doing, right? And stop shooting all
mhm,
over ourselves and really come into
mhm,
part of who we are and the gifts that we bring.
mhm. Oh, and thank you for bringing light into that because what you described is a way of life. You went from a way of life that is what's normal in society, which actually leads to which creates a lifestyle of stress and disease and disconnection to a life where there's ease, there's connection, there's grounding, there's more of that feminine energy and more of the human being. And now I want to take us to a conversation about plant stem cells. When I first learned this about you and this work that you're doing, this idea of plant stem cells was so new to me and so fascinating. I'd never heard of plant stem cells before. Walk us through how you discovered that and how it is like the creation of it now or the use of it now at your company, Nature Provides.
Yeah, I want to add a word. So when you were describing as women, like the divine feminine energy, I would like to add the
Mm,
word magic
mhm.
because my
Mm,
experience in discovering the plant stem cells, and I often say they found me,
mm,
is that when we slow down and we become intentional and we acknowledge our own sacredness, that's where the magic is. And then the right
mm.
things show up in our lives that we are meant to connect to, and the right people and all of that. And I have a saying, every morning I say
I love
I'm,
that.
in the right place at the right time with the right people. And that's just an intention that I create in my life. And so I literally was, through the metastatic cancer, according to the model, in remission. But my cancer markers were going back up. And, I just had this feeling in my gut like, oh, oh crap, I do not wish to re experience this. And so I really sat for, a couple of months of going inward and saying, am I complete? Have I learned what this experience brought to me? And, I got a clear yes. And so I said, okay, well, this is interesting. Then why are my markers going up? I was visiting a friend, and her husband came out with this tincture. And he said, Jennifer, this product has really helped a lot of my patients and saved their lives. And I said, oh, that's great. Very casual. And I said, well, what is it? And he said, it's embryonic plant stem cells. And as soon as the words came out of his mouth, the only way I can describe it is I literally felt like I was struck by lightning. I had,
Mm.
I had, goosebumps all over my body, and my energy was literally vibrating.
Wow.
And, at that point, I had done enough internal work to know there's something here. And so
Mhm.
I started asking questions, and I found out that there was a training coming up in 3 months. And I said, Dr. Michael, I have to go to this. I can't tell you why. Like, logically, it doesn't make sense. I can't tell you why, but I have to go to this training.
Mm.
And so I ended up going to a training. And on the last day, the man who was teaching the training said he was going to be releasing the plants in the form that he was working with them with, because he was writing a book. And in that moment, again, I had that, wave, that waft of energy come over me. And I knew in that moment there was magic happening. And I got on the plane and I went into meditation. And what I heard is, Jennifer, you are a steward of these plants. This is an ancient remedy that is asking your assistance to bring it forward to the world. And that sounds,
Mm.
very
Wow.
odd and all of that. And especially coming from a woman who was in financial services for 29 years. Like, this is very woo woo stuff for me at that point in my life. And so I just chose, I said, okay, I can take the blue pill or the red pill. What am I going to do in this? And I said, okay, this is something for me to really listen to. And I started working with these magical plant remedies. And within 2 months, my cancer markers were back in the normal range. And then there were some other beautiful things that happened that I didn't even know what was going on with my body. So, my arteries were completely clear. And so just some pretty magical things that happened. And I said, okay. And I just want to presence one thing, because a lot of people talk about what they own. And for me, the message was so clear, is you don't own this. This is nature. You are simply the
Mm.
steward to bring them out to the world. And that is
Mm.
your role, is to be the plant mama, to really, embody these beautiful plant babies and get them out to the world.
Mm.
And so that is, the story of how these plants found me and what my role is in working with them.
Wow. And oh my gosh, that's so fascinating. And it's not, it is magical and very mystical. And yet it takes us back to nature, like, because we are of nature. And
Yes.
so it makes sense. Why not use nature to heal us? Because we're made of nature. And so from there, now I want to touch on, you mentioned that within 2 months your cancer markers were normal.
Yes.
That's super fascinating. And you also talked about how it led to healing other things in your body that you didn't know of. What were some of those other things?
Yeah, the big one was the plaque in my arteries. So, my family has a history of heart disease. And for sure, I was on that path, because of the
Mm.
stress, right? Hypertension and all of those things. And
Mhm.
I did a test that looked at the four chambers of my heart and looked at the plaque in my arteries. And my doctor sent me a note and he said, I've never seen this. You have the arteries of a 17-year-old, because at your age, right at your age, you should have some plaque in your arteries, Jennifer.
Oh my
And then,
gosh.
and then he said, maybe the test, of course, that goes back to maybe something was flawed in the test. But that's when I knew, like, wait a minute, that wasn't even
Mm.
something I had in my intention to focus on. And I had a baseline to
Mhm.
compare it to. And I said, wow, this is literally
Wow.
cleaning up, old debris and toxic
Yeah.
matter in my body. And that's really where
Mhm.
I really started to embrace these, like, okay, and I would listen. What else do you have to tell me? What else can I learn about you?
You're like the plant medicine whisperer. That's what you are. The plant medicine whisperer. Okay,
Yeah.
now some of the effects of the plant stem cells you've touched on is detoxifying.
Mhm.
What what have you seen is often the case that your clients or your patients are detoxifying from their bodies? That's so common.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, our water, we've got, chlorine and fluoride in our water and many other, pollutants in our air. Our skies are being
Mm.
sprayed. If we've got aluminum oxide, tire dust, I
Mm.
recently learned about last year that tire dust is something that's invisible that we are breathing day in and day out. And it basically
Mm.
coagulates our blood. So that's a toxin in our blood that's poisoning us. And
Wow.
then, of course, the food supply, right? We have food, you can look at it and it looks beautiful. And the minute you pick it up and you read the ingredients in it, I mean, it's bioengineered food and all kinds of poisons in our food. And so, I used to be one of those detox twice a year, maybe at the end of each season, 4 times a year at most. And I thought, okay, I'm good. I believe that it's a symbiotic relationship. And so it's an intentional thing
Hmm.
to literally know what we are putting in our bodies and on our bodies, right? Because the makeup, the lipstick, the hair products, all that stuff, it's an
Yeah.
accumulation of the toxins that weigh us down and get us sick. When I
Mm.
go back and look at pictures of me from, a year after the cancer journey, I mean, boy, did I look weathered and ragged and heavy.
Mm.
My eyes were dark. That's the biggest thing that I notice about working with these plant stem cells is I've got vibrancy back in my cells. I've got light
Mm.
in my eyes. And I feel young. I feel young. I act young.
Mm.
And I know that's this vitality that I am, working with, this energy that the
Mhm.
plants are bringing to me that are literally
Mhm.
regenerating and rejuvenating my entire system. And plants, one of the interesting things about plants is they are an intelligence, right? Plants are alive and vital. And even though they don't have eyes and ears, they sense, they have more senses than human beings do. And so you're working with that
Mm.
energetic, even of the plant, of, for
Mm.
healing. And so there's so much more than what, is in the physical world when working with these plant remedies.
Wow, and it's this version of you now, it's hard to, for me at least, it's hard to imagine like the version of you who was go, 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 because your energy is so vibrant. Like you say, like it is truly, truly vibrant. You have like this lightness and this angelic kind of aura to you. And you're so zen. And you're reverse aging, which is what our summit is about. It's, this is one of the secrets, the hidden truths. Now, okay, I actually don't like to say secret because it's not a secret, it's just not known. So, this is one of the hidden truths, literally, to reverse aging.
Yes.
And it's plants plant stem cells. This is so beautiful. And what else can you tell us about plant stem cells and maybe any other healing modalities that you incorporate into your plant stem cells therapy?
Sure. So, the plant stem cells they have three different actions for people. One is they do, they're known as drainers. So they are literally going into the body with that intelligence that they bring, and they are pulling the toxins out of the cells, the tissue, and the organs, which means they're cleaning up our blood, right? So they're blood purifiers, they're cellular purifiers. The second thing they do, which I think is where the magic comes in, is they bring the extracellular matrix back online. And our extracellular matrix is our
Mm.
communication network in our body. So I'm convinced back in those go-go days that my extracellular matrix was sleeping because or I was ignoring it very clearly. So it brings that communication network. So now the cells are talking to each other, right? Okay, and so now your body is actually in a symbiotic relationship with itself. And it's communicating and it's kind of
Mm.
in the pulse and flow of life. And then the third thing is
Mhm.
they bring that vitality back. So
Mhm.
I have a made up word called zhuzhing up. So they zhuzh up the cellular, body, and they zhuzh up and bring this vitality back. And I said I use the analogy of babies often. So these are the new baby parts of the plant. And if you think about a newborn baby, right, they've got just this light in their eyes and they're beaming with life force and chi energy. And,
Yeah.
they just look angelic. And that's
Mhm.
the energy of what the plant stem cells are bringing into the body. I do work
Mhm.
with sound and I do work with frequency. So I do energy healing. And so I do bring those aspects with my clients when I'm working with them, because light and frequency and sound really are the
Mhm.
innate gifts that we all have, right? Our bodies
Mhm.
have all of that. They're mimicking nature. We are nature. And so, I do
Mhm.
work with those other modalities. And I do also work with other plant modalities. So I do use some adult
Mhm.
herbs and I do use some essential oils, because I believe in the
Mhm.
power and the healing capabilities of these beautiful plants.
And as you're describing it, I experience like a kind of gentleness. And I'm also seeing that this is so exciting because what I see as possible is that we have something natural, holistic, that truly works with the natural intelligence of our bodies that can help us reverse the effects of all the ways in which we've destroyed our bodies. And like you say, it can rejuvenate and revitalize and bring that vibrancy back into our our human vessels here. And that really, really, really excites me because who doesn't want to be vibrant again, right? Who doesn't want like the light in their eyes and have that youthfulness to them, which you do as well, Jen. You have a very like you have kind of a little girl playfulness aura to you, which I absolutely love that.
Thank you. Yeah, now that has been the intentional shift for sure in my life. And even when I work with the plants, I'm very intentional. I think part of where we are heading is coming into this divine feminine energy and this vitality that's our birthright. And it's about
Mm-hmm.
intention, it's about
Mm-hmm.
collaboration, it's about power with, it's the circle of
Mm-hmm.
life, right? That's what we are really solidifying now at this point in our evolution on the planet. And to me, I really work with people to get out of the mindset of give me the protocol, give me the quick fix. That's that
Mm-hmm.
masculine energy, right? That's the get her done, just
Yeah.
give it to me. And so I really work with people to connect in, where are they feeling things in their body, to make that connection,
Mm-hmm.
to teach them, what I learned the hard
Mm-hmm.
way, so that they
Yeah.
can really have that connection, and then teach them to intuitively connect to the plants and that they will
Mm-hmm.
know. And to me, that's also part of my mission, this education and teaching others that we have this innate power and beauty and connection. And it's just a matter of is being intentional and honoring these sacred
Mm-hmm.
vehicles and knowing
Mm-hmm.
that that's where the magic is, right? That's where the magic is in our health and the way we live our lives.
So you're saying we all have it within us to become our own version of a plant whisperer?
Yes, we do. I
I love
often
it.
do classes because, and it's just it's an incredible gift. And I've often said the guru outside of us is complete. That doesn't exist anymore. It's tapping into the guru
Mm-hmm.
within, which is our own innate
Within.
intelligence and wisdom. And what may work for you
Mm-hmm.
won't work for me because I'm special and unique. And so are you.
Mm-hmm.
So we each will
Yeah.
have, that connection.
Yes, and it's learning to honor that. And speaking of uniqueness, what are some of the things that your clients come to you for healing and therapy?
Most people come in with a physical issue. So I do work with, many cancer patients, a lot of gut issues, anxiety, depression.
Mm,
I would say those are kind of the big ones. And then sleep and hormones are probably the fifth one. And they're all connected, right?
okay.
Everything is connected. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what people are coming toward. And most of it is this
Mm,
unraveling of the lifestyle that folks have been
mm,
living, right? And it's so, yes,
mm-hmm.
they're coming to me for healing, but it's really about me empowering them and in many ways giving them permission to know, hey, this is within
Mm-hmm.
you. And a diagnosis, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I have people that come to me and say, I've been given a 20% chance of living. And so, that's so soul
Mm,
crushing, and it plants a seed for people.
yeah.
And so part of it is the belief system, and that, in that belief system sits
Mm,
that innate intelligence. So that's what I work
mm-hmm.
with. Yes, they come in for a physical ailment, but when you start getting underneath it all, it's all of the stuff we've been
Mm-hmm.
speaking about and all the stuff that I went through in my own journey, and you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you, from my experience of you, you have this like added energy of being able to hold a sacred space of really making possible like anything when it comes to healing. Like that's my experience of you. You're holding this beautiful space of possibility and hope. And like, it's like, what do you really want? What do you really want in life? Do you really want to heal this? Right? And do you want to keep living? Do you want a vibrant body? Are you committed to changing the lifestyle? And it seems like you can really hold space for people to realize a way of life that they would not otherwise know.
Yeah, we limit ourselves, right? That belief is so a part of the equation. And there's a quote, and I don't remember the author, so you'll have to excuse me on that. But it says, "See people as they are, and they either stay the
Mm.
same or they get worse. See them as they can be, and they get
Mm.
better." And that's what I
Wow.
see with people when I see them in their vitality, and I
Mm-hmm.
educate them that that's within them. That's
Mm-hmm.
when I really start to
Wow.
heal on the deepest of levels. And I have goosebumps
Wow.
saying
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps too. Oh
that.
my goodness. Yeah, yeah. So you're holding them to their potential. It's like, okay, you might be experiencing this right now, but this is not who you are. This
Right.
is this is how I see you, and this is where we're gonna go. Like
Yes.
that's the stand you're making for people. It's
Yeah.
incredible and
Yeah.
so incredible. And as we wrap here, there's three questions that I ask all my speakers. The first question: what is your number one life hack for promoting your own longevity?
Well, I have to go with the plant stem cells because they have been a massive, massive game changer for me. And internally, you can measure your internal age. And before I started working with the plant stem cells, I was actually internally older than I was.
Uh-huh.
Since working
Uh-huh.
with the plant stem cells, I'm significantly younger than I was. So,
Oh,
plant stem
can you
cell,
share those numbers with us?
yeah, I mean, I was in my high 50s when I was 49
Hmm.
years old. So I was showing up as 10 years
Wow.
older, and now
Oh my goodness.
33 and I'm 58.
Mm.
So that is
Yes,
that's
yes,
close to half
yes.
of my age. And that's without all of the,
Beautiful.
cosmetic stuff that's out there. That is
Yeah,
all from
right.
working with these plant stem cells. Okay, so
Oh
question
my
two.
goodness. It's so beautiful. I love that. Well, and I do want to ask, I didn't get to ask this earlier on. I do want to ask before I ask the second question. I want to ask a different question related to your company. What kind of products do you have available?
Okay.
I'm just
So
curious. Yeah.
yeah, so we have three different types of products. We've got obviously the plant stem cells, and those are individual plants, and plants have an affinity for organs in the body. And then we have complexes that are designed around an issue like allergies or cardiovascular systems. So they're either systems, oriented, and that means a complex means multiple
Mm,
plants working together in harmony to resolve something. Then we
okay.
have organic essential oils. So I started working with essential oils, and that was really what connected me to the plants deeply. So we've got a line of those, and those
Mm,
are all singles. And then we have some adult plants that we work with as well, and some vitamins and minerals that all
okay.
all of those come from Italy.
Okay. Wow. I can't wait to look on your website and I'm going to order some things. Because literally, like, as I'm in the middle of producing this virtual summit. I am in that go, go, go energy because I'm also balancing my full-time corporate job and I'm finding myself constantly telling myself to like breathe and de-stress and stay grounded. So I digress a little bit, but thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
The second question, what, pardon me, where do you see the future of longevity headed?
That it A lot of it is free. It's getting out to nature, it's tapping into our innate intelligence. When you go
So
back
true.
to our ancestors, right?
Mhm.
They knew. And if you look at the indigenous peoples, which I had the privilege and honor to study with for a few years, they know, and it's that symbiotic relationship. That's our longevity. That's how we live in
Mm,
commune, in a communal symbiotic relationship with
yeah.
nature. And to me, simple things like go outside and stand in front of the sun for 10 minutes in the morning or 15
Yeah.
minutes. Go for a walk. Go
Mhm.
stand by a tree if you're having a frustration happening in your world. Take your shoes
Mm,
off and stand on the grass and
yeah.
connect to nature, right?
Mm,
Nature has an energy field. And so
yeah.
we are basically then leaning in for support. And to me,
Mhm.
that's the future. And I think it comes back to light, frequency, and sound. And those are all available
Mhm.
to us at any point in time.
Mm. So magnificent. I love it. And the third question is, and I think you already touched on this, what thought or deed takes you back to a childlike, playful state?
Um, Really trusting, my soul, my spirit, that we're all here
Mm,
for a reason. We're all contributing to something magnificent, this life that we're all leading. And it's really about tapping into that and being in harmony, slowing
mm,
down. I now am the CEO of a business and I'm an entrepreneur, which is completely different than, working in the corporate world. And I easily could fall back into those patterns of working from 7 in the morning until 7 or 8 at night. And so to me,
mm,
it's really about slowing down, being intentional, connecting into our own sacredness and
mm.
smiling. Life is always going to throw us curveballs, and we don't know what
Yes.
light is like until we've experienced dark, right? And
Mm,
so to me, it's going with that flow and really tapping into the magic that we each are.
it's
That's
so
what our
beautiful.
longevity is.
Yes, yes. I love that. Now, for our viewers, I've asked Jenn to create a free gift for you because I really, really want you all to experience this world of plant stem cells. And it's going to be something you'll be able to download. Jenn, can you tell us about that gift?
Yes, it's called The Ultimate Guide to Plant Stem Cells, and it really shares, some of the science, of course, that's important, but also the magic. So it's balanced with the science and then really different experiences and how the plants work and why they work. And I'm thrilled to be able to share that because I'm actually writing a book as well. And
Yes.
that's been part of my guidance to educate and bring the information out. So
Mm-hmm.
this will be just
Mm-hmm.
a snippet of that and the magic these beautiful little plant remedies bring.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I love it. And the link to access the downloadable gift will be available in the show notes. Any parting words for our viewers, Jenn?
Trust yourself, love yourself,
Hmm.
connect to nature. And
Hmm.
we've each got this. This is our own personal journey, but that's the secret sauce.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I love how you simplified that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being with us today, Jenn. Thank you for your life journey. Thank you for coming into this magic of plants, stem cells, and thank you for bringing it out into the world.
Thank you. I'm just thrilled to be a part of this, and you are amazing. I'm grateful to you and to all the other speakers here to continue to um, let people know that longevity is possible, that healing is
Mhm.
possible, and that it's our
Yes,
birthright.
yes,
Thank you.
yes, 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 yes. Thank you again. And bye, everyone. Mwah.
Bye. Thank you.